Welcome to the Rigged Report. I am your host, Jersey Snoop. Well, we'll be looking at the deeper conspiracy side of sports. We'll be looking at the scripted lines. We'll be looking at the rigged storylines. And I know a lot of it doesn't make sense, but we still try to help you make dollars. Okay? So, with that being said, we're going to look at week 3 recap. Today is Monday. We're in week 3 of the NFL season. And what a roller coaster ride. So we're going to just keep it real here. I know many of you feel like I feel when you're looking at a game and you see like, how the hell does this bullshit make sense? How did they miss this? How did the spread come to this? This is rigged. And your friends is like, oh, that's bullshit. You're not alone, man. Come on over here, hit that subscribe button. You got a family over here. We know what it is, okay? And we're not going to sugarcoat it, but we still love sports. We are Eagles here. We love the Ravens, and we're going to just have an open mind, speak common sense, and try to help make some money. You know, the world is a stage, but we still got to get paid. You feel me? So let's look at last night's games. Let's see what we got here to start it off. It looks like they started off. Let's go to the Texans and the Jags. Texans was down 0-2 and a desperately must needed win against a division opponent, the Jaguars. Okay. The Texans were 1.5 point underdogs. Desperately needed that game. They totally wet the bed. Had the Texans, I feel like, their defense was enough. You're going against the Jags. I mean, the first week they played the Rams. The second week, they played the Buccaneers. So I said, okay, against the Jaguars, they should be able to win that game and not go 0-3. Wrong. I got the storyline wrong. However, with that being said, DeMeco Ryans probably should be fired. How do you have a defense like that coming off of a bad year? You done drafted, you done traded, you done got your line built up, and you're still this bad. Somebody has to go down with the ship, and they're not going to get rid of Stroud or anything. So, DeMeco Ryans, you keep talking that, oh, I see progress, we're getting better, we better. No, you're not. You're losing the bums. So, DeMeco Ryans, you're in a hot seat, brother. Someone else who's also in a hot seat, I think they should fire them. Raiders. This Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly thing, it ain't working. I can't stand Chip Kelly. If you're an Eagles fan, you can't stand Chip Kelly either. They need to fire Chip Kelly because that offense is not offensing. You know what I'm saying? It is not working. They got Genty there. It's not doing much. You got Geno, you got Pete Carroll, you got Tom Brady sitting up there in the booth. And you guys do not know how to grip it up and fight to get a win. Like, this is very bad. You lost to the Washington Commanders without Jaden Daniels. You had Marcus Mariota there, who Chip Kelly should know. You should know his strengths and weaknesses. And you still got dominated. Fire Chip Kelly. And I don't care if you fire Pete Carroll too. But that offense, Chip Kelly's been ass. He's always been ass. His only good time was in college. We don't rock with Chip Kelly. Get him out of there. And as long as he's there, good luck with those picks, y'all, because it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. All right, what do we got? Oh, we got the Panthers. Panthers was 0-2 on their home opening. Blew out the Falcons 30-0. I did pick the Panthers plus 5.5 at home. I said, okay. They always play the Falcons tight. Falcons is right down the street. Even though the Falcons look good the first 2 weeks, we don't really know what Michael Penix is yet. So I'm thinking their storyline, okay, they look good. They come there. Now he's bad on the road in the Panthers home opener. So I got that one right. Nothing much to say with that one. The Falcons will be back in it. I just got that storyline right, So let's take a look at the next one. What we got here? We got the Jets and the Buccaneers. I didn't really have a dog in that. I figured the Buccaneers would win money line. I didn't really like the spread and how pro sports bettors and everything like the Jets, who did cover. So they kind of, I guess they read the script. They got a hold of that script. So the Jets did cover. They lost 27-29, and they were, I believe, 6-point dogs. So they covered that. Not really much on that Jets thing. Tyrod Taylor played okay. We'll see what happens when Justin Fields gets back. Let's see what we got. Oh, the Steelers and Patriots. See, this is things that bother me over here at the Rigged Report. Early in the week, they had the Patriots -1, and everybody took the Patriots. The pro sports bettors, the wise guys, everybody was on the Patriots, and I'm like, how? Drake May is not better than Aaron Rodgers, even though Aaron Rodgers might be up and down right now. How? What do they see that I don't? You know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers losing to Drake May. The Patriots are not good like that. They have a nice little defense. They're getting there, but they're still very young in building. The Patriots are all in this. I mean, I'm sorry. The Steelers are all in this year. So to lose an AFC game to the Patriots didn't make sense to me. And I had the Steelers. But after all of the sports pros kept saying Patriots and everything, they scared me off it. I was like, you know what? They might know that script. So let me go ahead and stay away from it. Wrong. Should have just went with my gut. Aaron Rodgers, even though it was a close game, they make it look like the Patriots was almost about to win. What you want to focus on is the final result because this is meant to be an up and down roller coaster. It's drama, it's everything in pro sports. You know, so don't pay attention to how they won. Look at the fact that they won. The end result is what we depend on. Okay, so congrats to the Steelers, and I'll bring up something else about the Steelers a little later. Bengals and Vikings. I said it. I said it in the early in the week. Vikings to win and Vikings to cover. My reasoning: Bengals 2-0. They lost Joe Burrow. Jake Browning looked good, okay, decent, whatever. He threw 3 interceptions, but they won the game. That was in week 2. Now you're coming to the Vikings, who just lost at home. Their first home game, they lost. They're playing another home game. You got to understand, there's a lot of entertainment value into this. They have to sell tickets. They have to make teams look decent so fans will want to come out and support these teams. So Minnesota just lost at home, and now they're back at home against the Bengals with Jake Browning. Now the Vikings lost J.J. McCarthy, and then they had Carson Wentz. So I was saying the whole time, yo, Vikings going to come out and win. Cincinnati Bengals don't have a defense. The Vikings do. They have great pass coverage. Well, very good. I'm not going to say great. They have a very good pass coverage. Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. I'll say that. And they're coming there. They're not losing 2 home games at home, especially to Jake Browning. And keep in mind, it's week to week. They want you to go off of the oohs and ahs that week. Then they put the lines out, and they want you to go off based on what you just saw. That's one of the reasons that they trick you. This is how they get us, you know? So I was like, nah, Jake Browning, he's coming over there. Nobody don't believe in Carson Wentz and them. But J.J. McCarthy looked bad. So I believe Carson Wentz is an upgrade, you know? So I was like, no, they're going to kill them. And, you know, I had a friend, no, I got the Bengals, Jake Browning. He knows the Bengals offense well. He's been with them a while. Yeah, but I think the script is in. And as you can see, the Vikings blew the doors off the Bengals. Out the water. 48-10. So we'll see. Carson Wentz, may he be the answer. May he get his Darnold on. Remember, Darnold went to the Vikings and revived his career. So is Carson Wentz doing that, or are they going to put J.J. McCarthy back in? Stay tuned. We'll see with that. Colts and Titans. Pretty good matchup, I thought. I thought the Titans would fight closer than they actually did, but it looks like Daniel Jones so far is the real deal. You know, I was worried how he would play on his first road game. Because you got to remember, when you see these games, you got to pay attention to all the details. The first 2 Colts games were at home. So I'm like, okay, you're at home, you're safe, you're comfortable. Yes, you're going to look like a great team. But when you get out on that road, let's see what happens. And the Colts held it down. But I got to give that to, I'll give that credit to Shane Steichen, man. He was a great OC for the Eagles, Go Birds. But, Shane Steichen, he's pretty good with quarterbacks, man. He makes them decent, So it looks like Daniel Jones has revived his career in a new place, in a new system. They look good. They're winning. Nothing I can say. Shouts out to them. I didn't take the spread. I didn't take that game, even though I was leaning a little bit towards the Titans to, show up a little bit and cover, but I didn't really mess with that game. This game I messed with a lot Packers at Browns. Browns pulled off the upset on the Packers, who everybody was on. I was on the Browns as well. People didn't have no faith in the Browns. Packers looked like juggernauts. Mind you, Packers' first two home games as well was at home. Now we have to take this on the road against a dominant defense in the Browns. Like, let's not play. We know Myles Garrett is legit, and that team defensively has always been very, very good. It's just the offense that's the question. We don't know if Joe Flacco is going to tank down and they're going to ask for Shador to come in. We don't know if Flacco is going to hold them afloat. That's kind of the question with the Browns. They're not going anywhere, but as far as covering spreads, they do some good jobs. And we took them with the plus 7.5. We got it at. Some of you got it at 8, and we didn't need any of the points. They won outright. So shout out to the Browns. It's not what you think. It's week to week. That's what we say. It's week to week. The rigged report was in. The Browns. And think about it. It was 10-0. Packers were winning with 3 minutes and some change left. And in that 3 minutes and the change, the Browns happened to score 13 points in 3 minutes left in the game against a Packers D with Micah Parsons. You smelling what I'm putting down? Yeah, something don't smell right. So that's what we do here. We want to look at the inside. We want to use our common sense. We want to use everything combined and just look like, does that make sense? Which way we're going to go? So big up to the Browns. They got that win. The script was in. All right, let's look at some later games there. Oh, one more. Let's look at Rams and the Eagles. Oh, what a win. Let's go Birds. Let's go Birds. I'll be completely honest. I like the Rams a lot. I like Sean McVay. I like that system a lot. Honestly, I said this. I would take the Rams plus 3.5 against any team in the NFL. Just so happened I could not take them against my Eagles. Can you imagine watching the Eagles game, and if they're winning, you're happy, but you're losing your money? Or if they're losing, you're kind of down about your team. I don't like to put myself in that position. Not to say I'll never bet against them, but I'll rarely ever bet against them. So the Rams, listen, it was 26-7. I tweeted, I said, Eagles, go home. You didn't come to play today. Go home. We're losing this one. And out of nowhere, Jalen Hurts, Mr. Average Quarterback, as they say, goes off. And we come all the way back to win 33-26. Now, think about this. The line was 3.5. Eagles were down. The Eagles were up 2. Rams had to kick the field goal. So the Rams were already covering. We blocked the field goal. Jordan Davis picks it up. He could have fell. Game could have been over. But no. The rigged report says Jordan Davis runs all the way back for a touchdown so that the Eagles will win by 7, shattering the 3.5 given to the Rams. What a coinky dink. I'll take it as an Eagles fan. I love it. But things like that lets me know this shit is scripted. Feel me? So go Birds with that. I'm not really talking about the Thursday night game, Bills and the Dolphins, but look at that. Dolphins were looking horrible, getting 11.5. Everybody had the Bills to dominate them. Bills win by 10. Welcome to the rigged report. All right. So let's look at some of these. Afternoon games that went down. There were some pretty good ones. Seahawks and the Saints. Seahawks put their foot up the ass on the Saints. Pretty much expected there. Seahawks looking pretty good over there. I didn't know how Darnold would adjust to his new team. They're looking good. We're not going to waste time on that. Cowboys and Bears. Fix was in. The line was always the Bears -1, and then it flipped to Cowboys -1. And I was like, the Bears look awful. The Bears look bad. Caleb doesn't look great. Weeks 1 and week 2, they got obliterated by the Lions, but we know why. Ben Johnson, things of that nature. Week 1, we saw no signs with our eyes that Caleb Williams was about to come out and go off. And everybody had the Bears, all the pro bettors. I'm not talking about the public, the pro bettors, the research I've done. Everybody has the Bears. And I'm like, why? Cowboys can score. Yes, their defense is, suspect, but they can score. We haven't seen nothing that shows that the Bears could put up 30-something points and stop anybody. And what happens? Let's just break down this game. Everybody, the pro sports had the Bears. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. I didn't see how it would look for them beating the Cowboys. As soon as they come out, Caleb throws for a touchdown. Turn right back around, does a flea flicker. Do you see how sloppy that flea flicker was? Go watch it. It was not smooth. It was very sloppy. You would think that the defense had time to catch up on it. And yet and still, when he throws the ball, the guy is out there way ahead of his defender. Welcome to the Rigged Report. What a coincidence. I'm like, okay. Now all of a sudden, the Chicago Bears or the Detroit Lions or the fucking Baltimore Ravens, and they're just running up on the Cowboys. Then, coincidentally, CeeDee Lamb gets hurt. Like, just what a perfect amount of events to come together for the Bears to win 31-14. They must have seen the script. I never see the scripts. I would love to get my hands on one, but all I can do is just put what I got together and try to use common sense, use stats, use trends, but also that entertainment and that storyline, because the storyline matters. If the worst teams if this was real football, the worst teams would always lose. And some people will make some good money, but they got to make you believe any given Sunday that team can win. And how do we do this? By scripting it. It's great entertainment. Why not? And I'm here for it. All right, we're just not gonna be fake about it. We're gonna be real about what this is. It's an entertainment world. All right. So we also had, let's see what we got. The Cardinals and the 49ers. No surprise there. Shout out to Mac Jones. I figured he'd do okay there. They had a hard-fought game. The line was 2.5. Cardinals were getting 2.5. Even went down to 2 in some places. They lost by 1. So for those who had the Niners with the spread, you lost. Cardinals covered. Not sure how. I mean, they're okay. I'm not a real big Cardinals fan. I think Kyler Murray is suspect. He got to run around everywhere to get his passes off because I don't think he can see over that line, me personally. But 49ers is doing it. 3-0. Mac Jones, Purdy, whoever. I'm a believer in Shanahan. Shanahan, McVay, those are great coaches. Offensively, they can kind of win or keep the boat afloat with anybody. So shout out to the 49ers. And then another tight game we had was the Chargers and the Broncos. Now, Chargers have been whooping ass first 2 weeks. Broncos were, hyped up and not really delivering on that hype. So it was 2.5 for the Chargers. I was like, why not 3? A lot of people like the Broncos, which I did as well, because here's my storyline that I figured, okay, Chargers are 2-0 in the division to start. If they beat the Broncos, they are 3-0 against their division opponent. Every team wants to win their division. You only play 6 division games. So they already won 3 against each team. So they're already halfway there. If anything, they just split, if it's a tied schedule or tied record at the end. All they got to do is win one more game, and they'll win 4 out of 6 in that division. So by them winning at 3, they're basically they have the division, to me. Unless they just go on a horrible losing run and then they lose all 3 of their next division games, which they won't because they're not losing to the Raiders again. I mean, at all. You know what I mean? Chip Kelly, get them out of there. But that basically gave them the division. This division is not up for grabs, in my opinion. The Chargers are running away with it. Like I said, unless they just have a 5-6 game losing streak somewhere, they have the division. So I said, all right, only 2.5. Everybody's going to take the Chargers with 3. Give me the Broncos, to keep it close, to do what the Cardinals did, lose by 1 or something of that nature. And, and keep the division up, up for grabs. Didn't work out that way. Chargers won by the field goal. I missed it by the hook, which is all right. Um, shout out to the Chargers. Harbaugh, they look real. They have that division locked. They just running away with it. There's nothing to stop them now. So that's where I was with that. And then we had the Sunday night game, which was the Chiefs at the Giants. Chiefs 0-2, desperately need a win. Giants 0-2, opening on their first home game. I was kind of both ways with this. I took the Chiefs money line. I took the Chiefs +3. I took the Giants +5 on a few tickets. I was trying to hit them all. Unfortunately, the Giants couldn't hang on. They had chances to score late, just to cover the spread if they got a 2-point conversion with it, but they didn't. And, that's totally fine. The Giants, I'm not a believer in them. I'm not overhyped by how good they play the Cowboys. Everybody plays the Cowboys good, and it was a division game, you know. So the Chiefs did what they were supposed to do. They got their win. Everybody, I figure don't be surprised if the Giants win. Every too much money was on the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? But hey, Vegas got to pay out sometimes too. If we never won any bets, then we wouldn't keep playing with them. So they got to give back some. So Chiefs got they win as most people expected. I knew they would win. I just thought it would be closer. Give the Giants a little love, but didn't happen that way. And that's where we are for Sunday night. Tonight, which is Monday Night Football, we have the Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. The Lions are getting 5.5. Now, mind you, Lions just put up 51 points against the Bears at home. Ravens lost to the Bills in the first week. They had a good game last week. Baltimore's at home. Lamar Jackson owns owns the NFC, like literally owns them. I think he only lost twice, once to the Giants, once to the Eagles. That's his only 2 losses against NFC opponents. So, of course, we're going Ravens. Let's go. We're going Ravens and Lamar Jackson. 5.5. To just see, this is where I'm thinking. To just see the Lions put up so many points and they're getting 5.5 will make the public just all want to rush and get that 5.5. It's very enticing. I don't blame them. However, think the Baltimore covers the 5.5. If I'm just guessing personally, I think anytime somebody big comes to Baltimore, they run them out the building, so to speak. I think golfing them and that home win against the Bears was just that. We looked bad in Week 1 against the Packers. Let's blow out our old offensive coordinator and his team, and plus the Bears are not good, like I said. And so I think people are going to be overhyped by that 5.5. So I see Baltimore covering the 5.5. However, we're trying to think here and we're trying to win money. The parlay that I put together and that I took, just in case if you're wondering, and I'll show some of my picks here. I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. If I'm willing to sit here and say I think that sports is rigged and I still love it, I'm not going to hide anything. So, I'm going to put my parlays. I'm going to let you guys see things. And we're family here. We're in this together. We're going to win in this matrix, okay? But I like Baltimore money line. Derrick Henry didn't score or had a terrible game last week when everybody had him. So let's get back on the Derrick Henry for the touchdown. 2 games without a touchdown. He might, but I think he gets a touchdown. I think the game's going to be very interesting. So I have the Ravens for money line, just to be sure, just in case, just to be safe. I have Derrick Henry for the touchdown. What else do I have? Oh, I have Zay Flowers for 40 yards. I think they're going to need him. I don't really go too high with the yardage because, like I say, they can put it up there and it can fall anywhere in between. So I try to find a realistic number to go to. And I'm not trying to make my ticket look like $1,000. I'm happy bringing it down and winning a cool couple hundred. You know what I mean? It's the amount of wins. So I have the Ravens money line, Derrick Henry for the touchdown, Zay Flowers for 40 yards, and I added Jameson Williams for 25 yards. So I have a 14 parlay for Monday Night Football. Try to stay, parlays, take them with a little grain of salt. They're harder to hit. The real money is in just taking the bets, straight up one bets at a time, so you don't have to sweat too much. If I was to do anything on a one bet though, I would probably just move the Baltimore Ravens down from 5.5 to maybe 2.5, and go there. So just thinking out the box. I'm being completely transparent with you guys. We are here to try to figure out the script, figure out the system. You know, we don't have the script or know what they got behind the curtain, but we know it's something behind the curtain. So let's use, what we can to try to cash, man. We need some money in America. The market is up, everything is up, and everybody needs some money. So we love sports and everything. We just see it for what it is. I've seen too many fluky plays. Think about it. This week alone, there were 9 non-offensive touchdowns blocked. There were about 3 or 4 punts blocked, returned for touchdowns. And this week alone, that's not often. That's not normal in a regular game. You look at the stats and how often that happens, that's not normal. It's in the script, you know? So, with that being said, this is what you're going to get. We're going to get recaps later in the week. I'll give you my upcoming picks. For example, it's very early in the week, but one duo I do like is the Steelers. I believe they're going over out the country to play against the Vikings. It's one of those overseas games. Let's see where they're playing at. Let's see what I can find for you guys. Just bear with me here. Where are they playing? Where is that game? I believe it's in Germany. No, not Germany. Let's find out where this game is going to be played. Dublin. We're going to Dublin. So they're playing in Dublin. The Steelers are considered home, but the line opened with the Steelers plus 1.5. Plus 1.5. It's moved up to plus 2.5. The Vikings are 2.5 favorites against the Steelers. The reason why I like the Steelers is because, again, I think they're all in this year. They might not cruise to the playoffs, but they're going to get in, I feel like. With Aaron Rodgers finally got a good team and a decent defense behind him, we get to see what he get to do, in his final year or final 2 years before he's done. So I believe they're going to win they're going to make it into the playoffs. However, with these out of country games, it's like the fans out there, I kind of tend towards the familiar names, familiar quarterbacks, the Brady's, things of that nature when they go out there, because they want to excite and they want to gain fans from overseas. But good game for Carson Wentz and the Vikings. Looked incredible. But you think you're going to go overseas and beat Aaron Rodgers? And mind you, Steelers have a bye week in week 5. This is week 4 coming up. So they're about to play before they go into their bye week. Mike Tomlin is great before the bye and after the bye. He hasn't lost before the bye, at least the last 2 or 3 years that I've seen. I like the Steelers. Overseas game, it can be close. Vikings just 48-10 on the Bengals. I hear all that. Steelers are going to the bye. Aaron Rodgers versus Carson Wentz. Who do you trust more? Steelers defense can step up at any given time. It's the Steelers defense. And you're giving Steelers 2.5? I hope it goes up to 3. I would love to take the 3. So that's just something I'm leaning towards. I'll have more of a definitive answer later in the week along with other picks. But, that stood out to me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Keep your eyes on that one. Okay? So for that, that's been the recap of week 3's games. Good luck tonight with the Detroit Lions against the Baltimore Ravens. Let's go. I'm looking for the Ravens to show up and show out on that one. And just one more thing I want to just bring up to you guys of what we do here. There's a lot of pro bettors out there. And to me, they're not pro bettors. They're just analytics guys. And what they're doing is just following the numbers. You got a good team getting more than 3, 4.5, things of that nature. They're just number guys. Okay? I want to just take a second and play a clip. And it's from Sharper Square, Chad Millman, and Simon Hunter, who's supposed to be a pro bettor. And I just want you to listen to what they say. Because Chad, jokes about the script writers and everything everyone does now. Because that's the ongoing joke. Let's joke about it so that people can not really believe it's real. And then the pro bettor, Simon Hunter, says something very interesting to me. So I want to stop and just play this little clip for you guys and be right back.
Making so many penalties and so many mental mistakes. They give up the game. They don't cover. The script writers for the NFL are on fire right now. Just give them the freaking Emmy because, like, insane 3-2 day for us. And the truth is, until about 4 p.m., we were headed for 1-3. So, you know, brother, you were way too. I texted you at one point. I'm like, what the freak is happening? You just wrote back football. You didn't even give me any exclamation points. Like, yeah, this is how I expected it to go.
It is. It's 60 minutes. It's like I never get too high or too low until the final whistle is blown because football is, I say it every time, a really stupid game played with a weirdly shaped ball, and it makes no sense. Like the bounces today, we just talked about it.
Did you guys hear what I heard? The script writers are on fire. They deserve an Emmy. I'm with you, Chad. I'm with you. But more importantly, Simon Hunter, who's a pro sports bettor, look it up, said that football is a stupid game and it makes no sense. Football is a stupid game. It makes no sense. Odd shaped ball. How are you a pro bettor at it? How are you a pro at it? If you believe football stupid makes no sense, then you're not betting football. You're just betting the lines. You're just betting numbers. This is why I see a lot of pro bettors. They're not even 70% winners. You know what I mean? They win some, they lose some, but they label themselves pro bettors. But you say things like that. Football is stupid. It's a weird game. Makes no sense. How are you a pro at it? Don't make sense. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't believe nobody. Yes, you're a numbers guy. You're an analytics guy. You see the numbers. Makes more sense. You run a bunch of You run a bunch of the what do they call it? The programs through the system to find out how many times it comes out, the averages and things of that nature. But football is a stupid game and it makes no sense. And we're supposed to listen to you for picks. You're just going on numbers. You don't care about the game. You know what I'm saying? You just see +4. Oh, I like that. Oh, -5. I like that. You know what I mean? So be careful with everybody saying that they're pro bettors. I'm not a pro better. I'm a guy who's just been betting for years, guy who's been paying attention, trying to win some money, having fun playing football. And then things started looking real flaky. You know, back in the day, football looked genuine, looked like they were putting on a real good show, you know. Nowadays it's sloppy. I see them drop passes that my son can make. Things of that nature just don't make sense when you're dealing with professionals who's supposed to be at the top of their class. You know, but just wanted to bring that to you guys. Did that sound funny to you as well? Listen, let me know in the comments. Welcome to the Rig Report. Please subscribe, share, come into the family. I know I'm not alone feeling this way, and now you know you're not alone feeling this way. See you guys in a week.